Hi guys, the following video is intended to help you to make an educated decision as to whether it's suitable for you to consider doing physics for your Leaving Cert. There are many things you should take into account before you make this decision, and it's very important that you give it plenty of thought before you decide either to take physics for your Leaving Cert or not to take physics for your Leaving Cert. Some things to consider might be, for example, a career that you intend to pursue after your Leaving Cert is completed. Is physics important for that career? Or is physics not important for that career? Other things to consider is possibly your own natural ability. Physics at Leaving Cert level is very, very heavily weighted in terms of mathematical calculations. Students who are stronger in the mathematics areas tend to do quite well in physics at Leaving Cert level. However, students that are struggling at maths, more often than not, struggle to perform well at Leaving Cert level in physics. Generally speaking, as a rule of thumb, students that are capable of doing junior cert higher maths, possibly capable of getting a H1, a H2, possibly a H3 in junior cert higher maths, those students tend to do Leaving Cert higher physics and in general perform quite well in examinations. Students who struggled in junior cert in mathematics, particularly students who would have done past mathematics, tend to struggle in the Leaving Cert physics program. The vast majority of these students end up doing physics at ordinary level. So my advice to you would be to consider, before you consider doing physics, first of all, consider your mathematical potential and your ability in maths to do Leaving Cert higher physics and perform well in that. While it's not an absolute requirement, it's very, very helpful for you to have performed very well in junior cert higher maths, or at least have the ability to do so. By that I mean that you are capable of doing a higher maths paper and scoring more than 70% in that written exam. Having said all that, students that choose physics, I think if the other thing that's very important is that you would have a natural interest in the subject. I don't think a student should select physics as an option for Leaving Cert unless they have a genuine interest in learning the subject. Students who just end up doing physics for a number of reasons rather than select to do so themselves by choice don't tend to perform near as well as students that select physics and have a good interest in learning physics and learning physics principles. The Leaving Cert course is a very good spread across all the physics field. In Leaving Cert, we cover areas such as optics, mechanics, sound, heat, electricity, magnetism, semiconductors, radioactivity, and particle physics, simple harmonic motion and circular motion. So these are the sort of topics that you will be exploring if you were to choose to do Leaving Cert physics as a Leaving Cert subject. As I said before, the students that are strong in maths tend to do best, and the reason for this is the Leaving Cert physics exam paper is heavily weighted in terms of requesting students to carry out calculations. And obviously students that are better at maths carry out calculations more accurately and are more competent of getting out the correct answers in the Leaving Cert. The other side to the physics course, 120 marks out of 400 marks, is attributed to an experimental section in the physics course. There are roughly 25-26 experiments to be carried out. 3 questions will be asked in section A based on these experiments. These carry 40 marks each, which gives a total of 120 marks. The remaining marks in the paper, which is 250 marks, those marks are based heavily on calculations. It's in section B of the exam paper. 90% of those marks are based on calculations. There are many careers that you might be interested in pursuing that physics will be helpful for, and this should be a consideration as well before you make your decision whether or not to take physics. Careers in the engineering area. And when I mention engineering, I'm thinking of mechanical, electrical, civil, sound, any area got to do with electronics, any area got to do with energy, and in particular, what's very topical at the moment is the whole area of green energy. So we are constantly striving to find new ways of harnessing energy in a cheap way that's cheap and environmentally friendly. And I would foresee this as being a massive area in the future, and certainly an area where people might well gain employment from. Anything got to do with sound energy? If you're interested in doing sound engineering, for example, you could work for a TV station, or maybe setting up speakers for a rock concert or any other festival-like activities. Other areas would include anything got to do with electrical. So electrical engineers, where you could be wiring a massive industrial site. You could be involved in the basic wiring of machinery, be it cars to aeroplanes. Any area of electronics or robotics. Many of our factories now work basically on robot basis, where you'd have very few people actually physically carrying out work. The factories run 24 hours a day on robotics. That will be all physics based as well. In addition to that, anyone that has any interest in nuclear power plants producing electricity, anything got to do with radiation, be it the positive sides of radiation, where we can use radiation to treat cancers, etc., or be it the negative side, what are the negative effects of radiation that would affect us as human beings or animals or plants. The whole area of the construction business. Any of those areas that I've mentioned, there are lots and lots of jobs to be got in those areas. The area of education, you could lecture, you could teach. There are many areas that you can get jobs from in physics. Personally, I think physics is a very good subject. I would recommend you to take it, provided that you're strong in mathematics. I think you'll find it very rewarding as a subject. I think you'll also find it challenging. But I think it's important as that we challenge ourselves. And it's important to test ourselves and push ourselves to try and reach levels that is something that we can take forward into the future, go into college and explore areas that we have interest in. So just to summarise that, what I would say, it's a very, very important decision whether you take physics or not for your Leaving Cert. There's a wide area of knowledge in the Leaving Cert course. It gives you a great basis for physics going forward. However, I must emphasise to you, don't take the decision lightly And be sure, if you do select to do physics, be aware you do need to be very strong in maths in order to perform well in Leaving Cert Higher Physics in the Leaving Cert. Should you have any questions in physics, feel free to message me via Teams or email, and I will respond to you as soon as possible. I wish you the best of luck in your decision. Thank you.